Hi, Dale coming to you from my master bedroom closet this time. Our master bedroom closet, unfortunately, only had a single rail of those wire closet racks, which of course is an incredibly inefficient use of this space. So we told the painters, take them down, paint, and don't put them back up. I'm gonna rebuild the closet from scratch. Now, we're gonna start in this small little nook area that I'm standing in. The reason is it's the only wall in here where it goes completely vertical to the ceilings. The other walls, as you can see, have a slight angle at about 5 or 6 feet up. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that yet, so I'm starting with the easy one here. And you can see if I was to hang some clothes here on this wall, it's going to get in the way of this adjacent wall. I don't like that, so my design is going to fix it. I hope you stick around and watch how I transform this little nook into an incredible amount of space. Let's go. Come on. I start by breaking down my 4x8 sheet of maple plywood into sizes that I'll need. That's first ripping 2 sides at 11 9/16 inches. From those rip cuts, I cut off 16.5 inches from each. These will be used for shelves. From the remaining 4x8 sheet, I cut another 4 shelves down to 16.5 by 11 9/16 for a total of 6 shelves. In hindsight, it would have been less cuts and easier and better if I would have just first cross-cut 16.5 inches from the 4x8 sheet. I'll know better next time. Now for the pocket holes. Yes, pocket holes. I know a lot of people really dislike them, but as far as I'm concerned, they have their place and there's nothing wrong with them. All of my shelves are going to be fixed as we really don't need them to be adjustable. Each shelf gets 3 pocket holes per side. The first shelves that I assemble are the top and bottom. I'm using these nice corner clamps I bought from Rockler. They are a really nice extra set of hands and keep the box square. I glue and screw both the top and bottom on. Note the placement of the pocket holes. On the top shelf, I have the pocket holes on the top of the shelf, and on the bottom shelf, I have the pocket holes on the bottom of the shelf. This way, they will not be seen. With the top and bottom attached, now is a great time to check for square. Simply measure corner to corner, and if the lengths are equal, then you are totally square.
Oh yeah.
Not just you, but your box is totally square too. Next, I'm putting in the middle shelf at 27.25 inches from the bottom to give room for my 3 drawers. 27.25 inches is just the space I wanted to do for my drawers. If you want, you can do 26.75 inches. Hey, it's your world. I'm just living in it. I'm screwing these in with pocket holes down so you will not see them on the finished product. I know I'm going to be hanging this on my wall with a French cleat, so I'm cutting that now. I'm thinking that if I install it now, it will help keep my box square. I cut from my scrap 7 7/16 inch boards and then rip a 45-degree cut at about 8 inches or so. Using glue and pocket screws with the pocket holes in the back, I attach it to the top of my box. Now to install the rest of the shelves. Find a tough camera angle and choose the most awkward position to screw in the first pocket screw. Then move to the second most awkward position and finish that side. For the rest, go ahead and choose a camera angle and less awkward position and finish out the rest of the shelves. Like I said earlier, I'm going with fixed shelving, not adjustable for this section of the closet, so I use a 12-inch spacer to make sure that I have equal spacing as well as helping hold the shelves level. Pay attention to where your eye level is, and for the shelves that are below your eye level, put the pocket holes on the bottom, and for shelves that are going to be above your eye level, put the pocket holes on top. That keeps them hidden. Moving on to building the drawers. You'll need to cut 3 drawer faces at 16.5 inches wide by 8 15/16 inches high. Of course, yours will vary depending on the space you left between your bottom and middle shelves. For these faces, don't forget to take grain direction into consideration. You may even want to cut a single 16.5 inch piece and then cut each 8 15/16 inch piece out of that so that the grain is continuous. 6 side pieces at 10.5 inches deep by 7 inches high, 3 front and 3 back pieces at 14 inches wide by 7 inches high. Again, your measurements will vary depending on the size of your cabinet. I'll be using 1/2 inch maple plywood for the drawer bottoms, so I need to cut a 1/2 inch rabbet or rebate depending on where you're from in all front, back, and side pieces. I don't have a dado blade, so I just run it through my table saw several times, moving the fence a little each time. You could also use a router if you want. Yep, you pocket hole haters are really going to want to close your eyes and plug your ears. I'm using pocket holes to attach the drawer sides, fronts, and backs. Put your pocket holes in the front and back pieces so that the side pieces run the entire length of the drawer. They'll be stronger that way. Make sure the pocket holes were on the opposite side of the rabbets that were just cut. This keeps the pocket holes on the front of the drawer, which will be covered by a face, and on the back of the drawer, which will never be seen. Now just glue and screw. Make sure to use a healthy amount of glue to make the drawers as strong as they can be. Also, double check that you are lining up all of the rabbets on the bottom of the drawer. These pocket hole corner clamps really help out a bunch. Using my ghetto track saw and my table saw, I cut out the bottoms of the drawers out of 1/2 inch plywood. Waiting until after the drawers were assembled to cut out the bottoms helped me ensure that I cut them to the correct size. To attach the drawer bottoms, I use glue and screws. With the drawers upside down, I put a healthy amount of glue in the rabbet all the way around, put some weight on the bottoms to clamp them down as I countersink and screw in 3 screws from both the back and the front into the bottom. Remember, these screws will not be seen. The glue on these drawers are now dry, and while I was waiting on them to dry, my master Jedi senses started tingling. I know a lot of you out there are saying, those drawers, they'll never last, or he shouldn't have glued those bottoms to the drawer. Well, that's the reason I use 1/2 inch plywood and not 1/4 inch. By gluing them to the drawer, it makes the entire drawer stronger. Trust me, I have never had a drawer fail, and I've been making them just like this for 5, maybe 6 hours now. But hey, if you still have concerns, put them in the comments below. I'd like to hear them. Back to work. To attach the drawer slides, I first clamp a scrap piece flush to the front of the unit, the same thickness as the drawer front. This gives me the position to put the drawer slides so that the drawer front, when closed, will be flush with the front of the unit. I push the slide until it makes contacts with the scrap wood and secure it with screws. I hope this will make more sense in a minute. Moving up the side of the unit, I use a template so that I can get even spacing between the slides. I push each drawer slide forward until it makes contacts with my scrap wood. That way I'm sure that all drawers will be flush to the front of the unit when they're closed. Once all 3 drawer slides are installed on one side, turn the unit over and install the 3 slides on the other side by following the exact same steps. By using the template, you will ensure that all slides will line up perfectly. After pulling the slides apart, I use a similar method to attach the slides to the drawer sides. I use a 1/2 inch scrap wood to position the slides 1/2 inch from the bottom of each drawer and mount it flush to the front of the drawer. Again, by using the templates, I'm assured that they will be mounted in line with each other on each side of the drawer. Do this for all 3 drawers. Installing the drawers into the unit is easy. Simply pull the slides out a few inches from the unit, line up the slides on the drawer, and slide in. The first time inserting the slides back together will sometimes need a fairly hard push, but once inserted, the drawers will open and close very smoothly. Now I'm moving on to installing the drawer fronts to the drawers. This isn't too difficult at all. I'm using my metal ruler as a spacer. Placing the ruler on the bottom of the drawer opening, I place the drawer front in place, and just eyeballing it, I center between the sides. Once I have it where I want it, I use a couple of quick clamps to hold it in place. That allows me to be able to remove the drawer, where I can then easily secure the drawer front with screws. I repeat the process for the second drawer. I place the metal ruler on top of the bottom drawer front to get even spacing, temporarily secure with clamps, and then solidly secure the front to the drawer with screws. The last drawer is very similar, but since there is not enough room for me to temporarily clamp the drawer front in place, I use a thin double-sided tape first. I place that on the drawer, line up the drawer front so that I have even spacing all the way around, and then press it against the drawer. Make sure that you press pretty hard to get a really good stick. This will hold the drawer front in place good enough for you to open the drawer just a little so that you can fit a clamp in. Once it's clamped, simply secure with screws like the other two drawers. I'm using a single drawer pull for each drawer, so I find the center of each drawer front and drill a hole all the way through the drawer front and into the drawer itself. Simply thread on the drawer pulls and tighten them down. I mentioned earlier that I'm using a French cleat to hang the unit on my wall. I just need to attach the cleat into studs and then lift the unit into place on the cleat. A perfect fit and very secure. Securing the rod hangers is pretty easy. Just make sure the screws are the right size. I had to shorten the screws that came with the rod hardware, or they would have stuck through the sides. The other side didn't have any studs in the wall where the hanging hardware needed to be, so I used toggle bolts. I bought 8-foot rods and cut them to size and installed 2 rods in this area. Well, here it is, phase 1 of our master closet redo. I apologize for all the bad angles, the bad lighting, and all the shadows. I am filming in my closet, and that is a tough place to film, believe me. But as far as the way this turned out, I really couldn't be happier. All in all, we gained about 18 inches of rod space for hanging clothes. We gained the 3 drawers that we didn't have before, and an extra 32 inches of shelving. And as far as the drawers go, we know that this is only about 11 and a half inches deep. So they're small drawers, but I made them fairly deep. And even with that, you'll see that I can still get plenty of clothes in here. And by the way, a little tip, when you do your clothes, roll them into tubes. You'll be able to fit a lot more, and not just your shirts. Roll your underwear too. That's right. Hashtag roll your underwear. So you can see I'm putting all my t-shirts in here. I've got 8 of my t-shirts in here, and there's still plenty of room. Matter of fact, let me show you how much room there is left. You know the drill by now. If you like what you saw in the video, smash that thumbs up, share it if you would, and if you haven't subscribed, this is a great time to go ahead and subscribe. Also, if you have any comments on how the phase 1 turned out, I'd love to hear them. Until next time, see ya.